Steve Weldon Hayes and his wife Margie hosted a reunion in 2003 of the direct descendants of Fred and Maggie Hayes. Many spouses, children, relatives, adoptees, and friends came. We all gathered at the old home place where Fred and Maggie raised 5 sons and 4 daughters to adulthood. The first child, Verla, was born in 1906, and the last, Steve, in 1927. The house still stands at 3406 Hayes Road in Monroe, North Carolina. In the video, you will get a good idea of what Steve and his sister Margaret were like. In 2003, they were the only surviving children of Fred and Maggie. Steve subsequently died on May 26, 2009, and Margaret passed away on October 13, 2015. Don Hayes, a direct descendant of Fred and Maggie through his father Grayson, did the videotaping. I'm Don's brother, Roger. Today is December 29, 2017. I'm converting the old tape of the reunion to a digital format. As soon as the conversion and editing are done, I will upload the finished video to our family blog. In addition to Steve and Margaret, many other folks you will see in the video have passed away. I hope this production will keep memories of them alive, as they were invariably interesting, fun, or just plain wonderful people. To start off, here's Uncle Steve with some stories.
But you know, I had the biggest laugh a while ago. This is what is known as a Hayes reunion. And the reason it was named that, I got one brother-in-law left that's still living. And this is that Roy Bley. And Roy had been all over the world. And he came down, and we'd go up to his house to play, up to Raleigh to play poker. And Roy, he would say, well, I'll play with you. And he sat down there and he'd play about 15 minutes. And then he'd get up and say, I got to go work tomorrow. And he'd just get up and leave. And that was strange to me, anybody having a good time like Roy. Now, he wasn't winning, but he was in there. And then next years would pass, and we'd go back up to Raleigh or down Florida or someplace like that. And Roy would, come on, Roy, get in here. And he'd get in there and play a little bit, and he'd get up and leave. And I was wondering why. He said, I got to work tomorrow. And he said, y'all cheating.
He was smarter.
He was smarter than I was. But now he wasn't lying, we was cheating. But that way, them Hayes liked to play poker, and he loved to get around in a crowd, get you in a crowd. You know a little something about him. Like Tom Hayes, I tell this no Tom Hayes. He used to have this little saying that every time he would see, he'd shake your hand. Shake your hand. And he said, Lord knows, he's so glad to see you. I ain't seen him in a month or two, but you just seen him the day before. And he'd shake your hand. He said, boy, I'm glad to see you. Well, that was his byword. That was his greeting to you, because he was glad to see you. And he got, we were down there at this garage one time. Dennis Benton runs the garage. That was one of Tom's friends that finished school with him. And I was down there, and then this Ooten boy, Robert Ooten, come in there. Tom shook his hand. He just seen him the day before, Robert. Robert, I'm glad to see you. He said, if you had on a skirt, I'd just kiss you. And Robert went back there in the back where Dennis was on his car. He says, Dennis, hold Tom here. Says, I got to go to the house a minute. And I just getting off work, so the wife always go home before we go out partying. And he says, I got to see her and tell her where I'm going. But don't let Tom leave. So he come by me and, come here, Steve. He said, don't let Tom leave. I'm going over the house. And guess what? He left. We kept old Tom here in the garage. And Dennis drove up in the parking lot there, and the most beautiful woman you have ever seen got out of this car, out on his, this was Robert Eaton I was talking about. And he come in there, had on his wife's high heel shoes, dress, wig, lipstick, makeup, is that rouge? And her wig she had. And he just threw his arm over. Here I am, Bubba, kiss me. Tom says, you ain't gonna make no liar out of me. Says, come in. He grabbed him up like that, and Robert puckered up his lips to kiss him. And Tom kissed him right there on the cheek. And guess what? He changed his greeting saying, I've been with him 1,000 times, I ain't never heard him greet anybody the same way. It broke him just like that. but I could tell you a lot of stories. Just 2 stories I'm going to tell you. First of all, I was conceived in that bedroom right there. I was born in that bedroom right there. And I probably would die right there. But I'm like my mama. She was a good woman. She had the best saying that anybody I've ever seen, that she always would answer, you will. She said, she always want to go to heaven, but she don't want to go right now. Ain't that a good saying?
Great saying.
And I had the best parents, I think, any man could talk about. We were sitting there right on that porch, right there, in that swing one Sunday afternoon after we got back from church. And Mama says, go down yonder to the road. You see that little old tree standing right down yonder to the road? That's a toothbrush tree. Said, go down there and cut me a toothbrush and fix it up and come through the house and get my snuff box, maybe a snuff box. One of them big tall cans, about as big as that's tall. I went down and got her toothbrush, come back up here and trimmed it up and give it to her. She had a full set of teeth. She could bite a nail into it. And she chewed on the end of that toothbrush a little bit and got it like a toothbrush. She reached over and got the snuff box can. Looked it off. I can see her just as frank as it would have been today, sitting there in that swing. She'd take that toothbrush and put it in there. We sat there a little bit. She always wanted to talk about the Lord. And I said, Mama, if we sat here and come down the road there, come the Lord, walked up the road, said, what would you do? She said, Lord, no, Steve says, I would get up from here and run in the kitchen and wash out my mouth. Now she wanted to be clean. I thought that was the best thing she could ever, any good thing that woman said, it applied to me. But I'm gonna tell you something with my daddy. He was a tough man, but he was a loving man. We used to have a granary set right between them 2 trees right there. We had a bench built on the back of it. We had these wooden 55-gallon drums that we sawed them in 2, and we put them on this bench. And that's where they went down there and washed their clothes. Mama, me and Frankie had to fill the water from the well down there. And fill these tubs up. And she'd wash clothes down. Well, after she got through washing the clothes down there, Stacy, where's Stacy family is? He was the one that had to empty them barrels. All the youngers had chores to do. And he forgot to do it. And I walked down there the next day and the water was still in them barrels. And he come around the corner there, and Stacy was up about the other side of the tree. He said, "Come here, Stacy." Stacy went down there. And he said, "You didn't pour the water out of that barrel." Stacy went to crying right then, because he knows what was wrong. He didn't do what my dad told him to do. And he come down there. He said, "Go on back up there at the house then, since you didn't do that." And he had this little crow hawk, and he could do this. He was trying to kick you like that on the rear. He was laying about over on that tree. Now that man was tough. Now the reason I said my daddy was a loving man. He would beat you. I got to tell this tale on account of this other tale I'm telling is on him. But show you he loved you. One time me and Frank was in fighting in the bedroom one evening. He was out doing carpenter work in Charlotte. And me and Frank fighting. And Marty's mama says, "All right, Frank, come in here, I'm going to give you a whoop." What did we do? Run. Mama couldn't catch us. We come out that front door and went down that road there and got down that tree. And she just opened the door. Says, "That's okay, your daddy'll be home in a little bit." And guess what? We had forgot about that fight. We had forgot about my daddy coming home. So, what happened was, Pop come home, wasn't a thing mentioned about that. And we went in that back room back there, not this one where I was conceived, but the. And guess what? My daddy had a razor strop, 2 foot long, 2 inches wide, and 8-inch thick with a handle cut on one end. And that was what they used to sharpen their razor blade, straight razor. And that thing was lemon. The strop was lemon. And me and Frank then went in that bedroom in there, and lay down. And we didn't sleep with no clothes on. We was naked as a jaybird. He grabbed Frank by the arm, left arm, and he tore his up. Man. And then I knew it was my time. And I went to crying. He grabbed me by the left arm. Now he tore my blood up. I want you to know after that when Mama said, "Come in, I'm going to give you a whooping," we can just go run. Because we know that Papa was good. But now, the reason I had to tell you that is this last story I got to tell on that old man. And I loved him like a daddy. I love my daddy. And every one of the youngest, Margaret had to do something. She had to, I think she had to feed the cow or milk the cow or something. Some guy told about milk the cow. Patsy. She come down there and I was milking that cow and I could take that old tit and I could squirt it as far as showing me on a good burn. That's how far I could squirt it. And, ask Patsy if I couldn't do it. And she was wet from top of her head to the bottom of her feet. And what was I told now? Oh yeah, my daddy. Look, that's what I was going to tell you. And he got, it was 6 months that my brother Frank himself fed him with a tube. A tube as big as my little finger. He'd hold his head back like that, and we'd run that tube down his throat. Put a funnel on the end of it. And we'd pour liquid stuff in there to keep him alive. And that last 6 months of his life. And we were sitting right there in that tree. That's not his first tree, that one. He loved sitting in the chair. And what did we do? Me and him were sitting out there one evening. And everybody had their own chore to do now. Margaret had to milk. I got sidetracked about that. And we were sitting out there one evening. And my job was to feed the hogs. You take all these old people know what a 10-quart water buffalo is. It's not too big. It's not as big as a 5-gallon plastic bucket. But we were sitting out there, and I said, Papa, you know, you were mean to us. He said, yeah, I mean too. He said, but I didn't spank you for nothing you didn't deserve. He said, I learned your lesson. And I says, well, I let him right. I said, but you know the time that you whooped me for not feeding them hogs that 10-quart bucket I was supposed to shut, take down there to the hogs. You could see his big smile on his face. He said, yeah, I remember that. I says, you made me go to the crib, shut that corn, and it was dark. So I'm wanting you to know, we don't have no dark nights now like we had then. And I had to feel my way into the corn crib. And I shut that basket of corn, bucket of corn, picked it up, took it down there to the hog pen, and I throwed that bucket. I had the bucket in, I throwed it in. I didn't even pour it in the trough, I just throwed it in the pen. And I was crying, I was scared to death. Because it was so dark. And I'm still scared at night. It gets dark, I want to be in a house. So I come, when I throw that bucket of corn in there, I went running back up to the house here. And when I hit the back porch up there, I quit crying. Not to me. And that had probably been from the time I fed the hog till he died was probably 50-some odd years. And Pop sort of laughed. And I got to him and he says, boy, when you were down there shucking that corn, you was crying your eyeballs out. And then when you went down there to hog pen and took that corn down and threw that bucket over that fence, said, you really true coming back up house. Said, if somebody want to catch you and hurt you, they could have caught you because you run too fast. And I said, you must have seen me do that. He said, boy, I want to tell you one thing. He says, I watched you all the time after I got through beating you. Till you went down there in the corn crib and shut that door till you filled the holes and run back up the house. I was watching you all the time. He didn't want nobody to get me.
That's one of the sweetest stories is that we know that Dad's father looked after him, and so that's just a little memory. I'm Kathy, I'm Steve's middle daughter, and I want to tell you how glad we are that y'all are all here and have made the effort and the energy to get here and the expenses. It's just wonderful to see all of you. This is my husband, Sandy, and we've been married 22 years. And I'm going to let Linda and Susie introduce themselves. I just want to tell you a couple of stories that I remember of having had the pleasure of living here. Got to know Frank and Grace and all like that. And Daddy, even though he didn't have 3 sons, he had 3 daughters, and we had to work. I mean, we worked the gardens, we cut grapes, anything that had to be done. And one of the stories I remember is they had planted straw down there, and they had to gather the hay. And Uncle Grayson had an old hay wagon, and Don and Kent and I and Susie and Linda all had to go gather the hay and get it on that wagon. And the fun part about it was after we got this wagon loaded and Uncle Frank was on the tractor pulling this wagon across the road here, all the kids got to sit up real high on this big hay wagon. And we thought that was just lots of fun. Well, Uncle Frank was driving the tractor, and as he pulled it across the road here, the tractor tilted and all the hay fell off with about 6 young'uns just completely flipped over, and we were just covered in hay. Unfortunately, what we did not know at the time is the pitchforks were still up. And I remember my daddy and Uncle Frank and Grace and jumping in this big old pile of hay and grabbing and slinging hay with their hands, pulling out all these young'uns to make sure that we were safe. And here comes Margie and Aunt Eleanor running down here to make sure all the kids were safe. But even at that time, even though they worked as hard, they did continue to look after us and keep us safe too. And that's just a little story I wanted to share with you. And now I'll let Linda speak with you.
I'm Linda Taylor, Steve's oldest daughter, Margie's oldest daughter, and I'm proud to be so. My husband, Donnie Taylor, who's been in the family almost as long as I've been, because we were married as children, practically. And the dad and mom took him in to raise as well. My son, Dwayne Taylor, my lovely daughter-in-law, Karen Taylor, is with us today, and we're glad that they're here. I've been sitting over there thinking about, everybody told stories, and I was thinking, I bet I could just about match Melvin as far as the length of time to talk. And then when Tom got up, I thought, I don't know if I can hold a candle to either one of those guys. So I'm not taking any bets there. But the only little comment that I wanted to put out is that Don and Becky have been married a good number of years, and Donnie and I have been married a good number of years. And Becky said something a while ago that I know for a fact now that tradition is carrying itself on. Don and Becky got married real young, and so did Donnie and I. We were real young, and back then people got married at a younger age. And I think Becky just commented that when she came in and announced her engagement, her daddy said, well, all I've got to say is if you make your bed hard, you have to lie in it. Was that what you said, Becky? Exactly. Okay. Well, when I was dating Donnie, like I said, we were real young, and we used to try to sneak in the driveway. It was a little darker back then than it is now. And as soon as that old Chevrolet would get parked out here, Mom would be in the front room turning the porch light on and off so we couldn't sit out here and smooch, So we decided we might as well get engaged and get married. That was the only way we was going to get a little privacy. So the night that we got engaged, I come right, just walked right up this little sidewalk here and into the front room, and Mom was standing in the middle room ironing. And I went by and showed her my diamond, and I was so proud and everything. And she looked at it, she says, that's nice. Says, I knew that was going to happen because he can't keep his hands off of you. So then, and he still can't. So I thought, well, okay, that was somewhat of a nice little blessing, So I walked on through the rest of the house, and Dad and Uncle Frank were sitting on the porch on an old settee that had been moved out there, an old couch had been moved out there. Probably swapping stories and trying to tell the biggest fish live story for the day. And I said, Daddy, I come by to tell you that Donnie and I have gotten engaged, and I want to show you my ring. Well, his dad, as always, jumps up and gives me a big hug and says, Sugar, I'm so happy for you. If you're happy, I'm happy. Uncle Frank looks over at me, and I said, well, Frank, what you got to say? He says, all I've got to say is you make your bed hard, you have to lie in it. So evidently the tradition is carried right on from one generation to the next, or one sibling to the next. So And sometimes there's not a bed of roses, but Aunt Margaret and I said earlier today when we greeted each other, it'd been quite a while since we'd seen each other, and that this was really a grand event, and it certainly is, and that we've had our peaks and we've had our valleys, but most of all, we've certainly had our showers of blessings. So thank each and every one of you for being here. It's really been a great pleasure. I'd like to introduce you to Susan, my baby sister, and her family. And fortunately, Susie is my neighbor as well as my sister, and she's a great joy. So here she is. My name is Susan, and we have a daughter, Maggie, and my husband, Vic. And this is his mother and father, Liz and Herb Thomas, and we're just glad they could make it. Thank you.
I understand that you got a daughter-in-law.
Yes, sir.
Who has not been on this camera yet.
Right.
Who, like,
I'm sorry, no.
And also, you got a niece.
I got a niece. She hides good, too. So.
But anyway, I want you to say something. What's your name?
Who was on that?
No, I won't do that. My name's Carton Taylor.
Okay, and you're married to who?
I belong to Bley and Taylor.
She said belong. Did you hear that?
he pays me to say that.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like he does own you there. Okay, and you are you're the daughter-in-law of who and who?
Linda and Donnie Taylor.
Linda.
Wonderful.
Donnie Taylor.
Mother and father-in-law.
And Linda is the daughter of
Steve Hayes.
Steve Hayes. Okay, and he's the son of
Who, Steve?
yeah.
Fred and Margaret.
Wow, boy, you guys have really been working on her. Way to go.
Why I waited until now.
Okay. And, you know, I don't remember getting Vic and Susie on the camera.
That's right.
So, Susie, what is your full name?
Pamela Susan Hayes Thomas.
And you are what sister in the lineage?
I'm the third sister,
youngest?
the last, I'm the youngest.
Okay. And,
Steve and Margie Hayes.
okay. And then, who is this little beautiful girl here?
This is our little girl named Margaret May Thomas.
Oh.
And her name is Maggie.
Hey, Maggie, how are you today?
Say fine. She's a little camera shy.
And who is this guy right here?
I'm Vic.
And Vic is
Vic Thomas.
Vic Thomas. And Vic, are your parents here today?
Yes, they are. Probably they're in the chow line.
Okay, they're in the chow line. Okay. And as a matter of fact, I think we have them on film today also.
Herb and Liz Thomas.
Okay, be sure that they go up there to the front with the whole family too, because that's part of your family.
And they knew a lot of some of the family here.
And you're from around here too, aren't you, Vic?
Well, I actually grew up in Charlotte, but my family grew up in Monroe, Unionville, Marshall area.
Right. And you're the person who compiled this photo show on the computer up here, right?
Slideshow, and enjoyed every minute of it, and appreciate all the input that everybody gave me.
All right.
Learned a lot about the family too.
Are you going to be able to make me a copy of that CD?
I got some already made. If not, I can burn another one. No problem.
Fantastic, man. I want a copy of that. I appreciate it. All right, let's go eat some food. All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Maggie, it's nice seeing you. You are getting so pretty.
Hey, Beth. Sir.
Sure, a lot of good things told about the Hayes family. I know they're all good folks, but they still cheated at the podium.
I introduced him to the Grape Patch. Well, Steve and Frank Hayes made the best wine. If any of y'all ever drank it, you know what I'm talking about. But one year, they got in a hurry. And if any of y'all have ever made wine and get in a hurry, you know what happens. They had over 200 bottles of wine out here in the granary. And there was explosions going on. Well, they put it up early and it was still working off and it was building up pressure and it was exploding. So we decided we needed to let the pressure off the bottles out there. And Steve, and Frank, and me, Kathy's friend Wanda was here. And we was all out there. And if y'all ever let pressure off a wine bottle, the screw cap, you know, if you like wine and you start spewing, what are you going to do? The drunkest I ever got was out there getting them wine bottles where they wouldn't explode. Steve, we need to make a batch of wine.
How many of you here remember the famous picture in 1922 when all the brothers and all the kids, and my daddy was a little 2-year-old, and they're all sitting in this chair? We want to do that same thing today. Everybody, every child, every one of you, come right over here in the shade. Look at Al. He's going to bring you. He's going to line us up. We're going to have a picture of this that we will remember.
Donkey, go.
You just smile. Look at you. Look at it. Good.
That ain't funny.
I've heard of people doing that. Yeah, he's sick to his stomach. Well, mine has an uncle or something that did that too, and his wife was like every single day. He would get sick.
Man, y'all can't sit that still. Her daddy. Yeah, your dad. Yeah, he's right. I always stay in the middle. Why don't you come look at me? I see it. Look at that.
That's good. Got one more. Put your hands on your knees. That's right.
Peggy, look up here.
Look up and say cheese, Grandma. Cheese.
All right, Maggie.
Give me the copy of this video.
I agree sometimes.
Kristen, you smile back.
Oh, look at
Oh, they all got a t-shirt. How neat. And we caught the train in Seattle and went to
Ride on Wednesday night?
Get out of town.
And then
Wait, so you ride on Wednesday night? Why? Do you know Genesee? Yeah, I've seen it. Oh! Ryan just no comes for fun.
what happened?
We're gonna go around Wednesday and check out the farm. The snow comes for free when kids do. That's what they told us.
Buddy is their uncle, Bart.
What?
Buddy is their uncle.
Yes, I know.
Oh.
I know. Well, that's wonderful. We'll see you probably Wednesday night. We're not. I love this. That's really nice. Do you wanna Mom. All right. Get out. I'm so tired. I want to do this.
It's been a long day. Yeah, it's been a good day.
Hey, we couldn't have asked for better weather.
I agree.
This has been
It has been nice.
I'm all shattered out.
It's almost like Florida weather, isn't it?
Oh, not quite.
And I was out interviewing Klan members and things like
Hi.
that. Black Panthers, you know. They wouldn't.
Hey.
Klan members. Some of them are.
Now this is a true Hayes event.
You just joined the sisterhood. Am I a cousin? Yeah, she's a cousin now. All right.
Okay, your turn.
What would you? No, I don't do that.
Ah. So she's a blood cousin.
I can't do that. My husband's right here. I'm sorry.
Vic, your turn. Vic, I do have one request of you.
What's that?
I would like to have a copy of that video, or that CD.
Okay, I'll have to make it one.
Okay.
Kent was wanting one, and your mom had one, so I'll make 3. And
Okay.
make sure you get it.
Excellent.
And that's a promise. You got it on.
Hey, I got that on tape, don't I? All right, bud. Appreciate it.
Now, where was this house?
That's Grayson and Margaret and Ellen.
What kind of farm that be? Down in Florida, something maybe? Or?
Something.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about
Who just
It's made. They're me and Grace when he's come home on leave. 1942. This is Ellen and Ray.
Oh, yeah. He's real friendly. Is he?
Yeah.
Well, if we can get him out and get the Beagles after him.
Have a little race.
We're having a race. We'll nab it, that rabbit.
How many snow cones did you have today, girl? 2 dozen?
3 or 4. I had bypass. He had a stent. Kent had a stent.
You had bypass.
I had bypass. Kent's stent at Rogers.
When did you have that?
I think about 3 years ago now. Yeah. I got a cute scar. You'll see. I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine if I show you.
Yeah, there you go. I know how that can go.
Is that?
All right, we're entering into Uncle Steve and Aunt Margie's house.
Yeah, here we go.
I love it.
And it's
Look at that, Uncle Steve. Look at that.
Wait a minute, Don. I want to see that.
I'm trying to be a
I want to
cousin.
see that.
I'm trying to be a cousin so bad.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
That is a good cousin right there. We're going to adopt you.
All right. Y'all need to proclaim me a cousin.
Well, I think we're getting there.
All right, now, Aunt Margaret's coming. Come here and tell a story. Come here.
Buttermilk that I ever had that came out of the churn right there.
Steve, get in here. We got to hear this again.
Yeah. She's got
What is
I didn't know that this was
Get over there with Aunt Margaret.
Stevie added this. Stevie added it from here back.
Okay, we're going to step out of the way. And let her tell the story. Let me get out of the way. Now you got good practice.
You see that practice. This is for real. Now, originally, see, Don, let me tell you. Let me set this over. Originally, Don, there was 4 rooms right there, and there was a porch out that way, and they kept cotton there.
Okay.
And I believe, as I understand it, Aunt Margaret and her first boyfriend were laying up in the cotton.
No, we weren't either.
And Uncle Steve. Oh, wait a minute. Now you know what? I better correct it then. All right, go ahead.
We were sitting in a swing.
You weren't laying up in the cotton?
Mama would have killed me.
That's right.
All right, well, tell us a story then. I got it wrong then. How did it go?
My first boyfriend was Henry Helms. Now, they didn't call him Helms then. It was Henry Helms.
He was a Helms. He wasn't a Hams.
That's right.
Hams had the money, and the Helmses didn't have
He
the money.
was poor and I don't know. And they had the porch out there, and it ran from the front entrance up there all the way back down this road. Right to here. Right to here.
Well, I didn't think this part was built then. It was just 4 rooms up there.
That's right. They wasn't built when they moved it.
Well, so how did the porch get all the way down here?
Steve
This, Papa built it.
Okay.
And built this, this was the kitchen, and this was a little throughway through here. It used to be a little hole come down through here.
Okay.
Because they always built the kitchen separate from the house in case it caught on fire. They would keep it
From catching the rest of the house.
rest of the house on.
Oh, I never.
So that was way back in. Every one of them back in
Had a separate.
had a separate bedroom.
And we had 2 doors. We had one door that ran, one door ran out there and one door out there.
That's right. That's right.
Didn't we?
Well,
And the porch ran across
Right.
there.
So you were good girl. I mean, you were not laying in the cot.
No.
No, she wasn't. Because I can definitely tell you, she wasn't laying in the cotton.
But Uncle Steve and Uncle Frank were out there with you?
They were laying up. Papa would pick the cotton,
Okay.
and then Papa would pour it up on this porch until he got enough to make a bale.
Which
And
is
then he
1,500 pounds of cotton.
Then he would.
Are you kidding me?
And seeds.
Okay.
Then he would take this cotton off of the porch and put it in the wagon and take it over to the gym, over on that highway.
Okay.
And we had a swing out there.
Okay.
And of course we didn't have any cars or anything, and Henry Helms would come over and see me, and we would sit on the porch out there in the swing.
How good looking a woman do you think she was back about?
I've seen.
Beautiful woman.
And we had all this cotton there waiting to be picked up and things. And Steve and Frank were just little boys, and they were there playing in that cotton.
Right.
And Steve said, Frank. He said, I farted. And they don't think that was humiliating.
In front of your boyfriend?
Yeah.
That was embarrassing to you, but I want to apologize, you sis. I didn't really mean to embarrass you in front of your boyfriend. But see, I might have to be the one that run him off when I said that. And look what you've done for yourself. You better yourself. You didn't marry that way.
Because of that.
Thank you.
He took a simple apology and he took credit for it.
That is exactly right.
70 years.
I
wouldn't have my wonderful husband without you.
That's right.
Yeah, you should have had him in here. But two.
Such a romantic story.
But then my second boyfriend was Jack Haywood.
Jack Haywood.
Jack Haywood?
Are we going to bring him in a picture?
The Jack Haywood that I know about?
Well, it was only about.
I'll tell you this tale about me
This
and Bruce. When I retired in '82, Bruce and myself got in business together. We had we went around and picked up pallets, like Family Dollar and Pick and Pay. And they had these flats that they stuck the equipment on it, and then take a forklift and lift it up. Well, if that pallet got busted, they'd give them in Bruce, and we'd bring them out here and tear them up, tear that broke board off, put a new one on. And then we'd sell them for $2 a piece.
We sell them from anywhere from $5 to $15 a piece.
Texaco pallets.
And Bruce, he is a good salesman, and we sell them to this plastic place down the road, Monroe, and we sell them for $2 a piece down here. And the guy come out there one evening after we delivered 2 loads down there, 100 pallets, 50 pallets on his truck, 50 on mine. Well, that was $200. And he come out there and says, can't pay you all that day, so we're just going to pay you half of it. So he give him, and he come back out there with a check for $50. And the way I went to Indian Trail School, and Bruce went to Rock Hill School, and Bruce, I said, look over Bruce, and I said, Bruce, this ain't right here. I said, yours is 200, bought 50. And he said he's gonna make us have it. Bruce said, ain't right. So we come up the road there, and the first stop we made was the liquor store. And cashed that check. Well, no, we had to go by the bank and cash the check to see if it was good. And so we done that for 2 or 3 weeks, and he kept getting further and further behind. And I always led him for old Bruce for this deal, because we'd take, went down there last 2 or 3 loads we took down there. We'd haul 3 or 4 loads, and in these 3 or 4 loads, well, Bruce said, hell, he's not paying us anyway, so I'm going to get my money back. So taking 2 loads, he'd go in there and tell the guy that unloaded to sign the ticket. He wasn't out there anyway, and he asked Bruce where to go. We done had 2 loads. Bruce said, you owe me 4 loads. All right, how much was that? 4 times, see that was
$800.
No, $400.
$400.
200.
For 2 loads.
And he said we had 4 loads, so that'd been $400.
All right. So then he just paid you for 1 load.
Right. Next time we went back down there, we had 6 loads. And delivered 2.
3 loads on your truck and 3 loads on Bruce's
Right,
truck.
right. We had, and then the guy gave us 50, and we knew he was going bankrupt or something. And we'd come by and I'd have maybe 50. I know one time I gave the guy $30 and Bruce, I think, gave him 20 or something like that. They'd check the loads in. You know.
Right.
I mean, he couldn't deny that we didn't live them because the guy that checked us in said we had done.
Right.
So, anyway, Bruce, he kept paying us for we got him up to 200. And he'd pay us 200, we'd be living 600 days. 6 pallets.
Right.
And that way that we was, he was paying more for less pallets.
Because he had already paid you less for more pallets.
You're right.
Exactly.
You know,
in the last
I've heard of this. That's what they did in Enron, a company called Enron.
Same
thing.
Since he was on there, they had a lot of work.
You know what? It really made me sort of sick. It made me sort of sick that before we went under, the guy paid us for the whole thing. And then said, don't bring us no more because we're going bankruptcy. The boss man told us that. Because he loved us because we didn't fuss at him because, you know, delivered.
And he bought you current on all those fraudulent loads.
No, I didn't do that. Bruce done it.
Oh,
yeah. He was just trying to get the bank paid for the ones you didn't get paid for.
This table.
Yeah.
Every child that Mama and Papa had grew up on this table and this bench. Oh.
Is that the truth?
Yes, it is.
This thing is 70 years old?
Oh, but it's longer.
Oh, that thing's 100 years old.
This
old.
table right here.
Yeah. Must be over 100.
Every child grew up on this table. There's some poker games here too, weren't there?
Really?
Yeah, not when Papa was living. No.
He didn't believe in poker?
No.
Papa didn't believe in poker?
No. He never did, and didn't believe in drink.
No drinking?
He had 1 drink maybe Christmas Day.
Well, what happened?
How did you get started? How did you get started playing poker?
Where's that begin?
That's the story we want to hear. Right? What? When poker and drinking started, because it wasn't when Papa was around.
And this table is set here.
Over there?
Yes. It always sat here. It never sat on that trunk. And during the Depression, the hard times, we always had 4 or 5 extra children that ate at that table.
Really?
Papa fed them. He fed the Hargets, he fed the Haywoods, and he fed the Vickery boys. We would have...
Are you kidding?
We would have at least 3 or 4 extra children, and I don't mean that it was just once in a while.
Every meal.
Every meal we had extra children at that table, didn't we, Steve?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. His wife was working. This was about 2 o'clock in the evening. And we asked old Jack, would he like to have a little social drink with us? He said, yeah, I'll take a little social. And we left there about 3 o'clock. And the last time we was seen old Jack, he had laying back up there in the bathtub, shoes on and everything else. He done passed out on himself.
We actually did it here and then took him down there.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to drink us under the table, and we got him in a whipsaw. Laid him out right quick, so. But
Now, he was a beaut, wasn't he?
who?
Jack.
It was a what?
A beaut. He only stood about.
Yeah, he wasn't very big.
He only, but they tell me he had a handmaid.
A what?
A what?
A handmade one. I've never heard of that.
Did you ever ask him to see it if that being the case? If it was
Lord help no.
And Margaret,
My mama would have killed him.
He was after you anyway, wasn't he?
No, he was my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And one of these reunions, back the first weekend, he came over. And,
They're trying to do it.
and here stood
Yeah, keep
Richard,
going.
and here stood William. I was already, of course. And she looked over at William, and she looked over at Richard, and she said, I want you boys to look here. Said, this could have been your father. What'd they say? And he didn't stand much. You know, he wasn't as tall as I am.
Really?
What did they say? What did they say? They said,
He's not.
What happened there? How did you ever ultimately fall for Uncle Roy, and how did you meet him and get so involved with him? I mean, you obviously had plenty of other men around who would.
No, I didn't have very many. I just only had 2 boys and Roy.
And Roy.
And Roy.
She sets her aside.
That's my tail, isn't it?
now count all the ones that wanted to be there.
Yeah. I didn't have many boyfriends. I really didn't.
Where was Uncle Roy from? Where did you meet him?
Well, you know, Aunt Susie would come and get me after I'd get out of school of a summer. And then she would bring me back when I had to start school again.
She would take you, is she living in Clearwater then? Or?
Oh, she lived in Quantico, Virginia, and Paris Island, and so she would come and get me.
And you would stay with her all summer?
All summer.
Wow.
And even from about the 6th grade, she would come and get me every summer.
Okay.
And so this time we were down in Paris Island.
Okay.
And I was 19 at that time.
Wow.
And one of these old Marines came up and he said, Susie! He said, boy, we got this pilot that just came in from down in Puerto Rico or someplace and said, he is hot shot. Said, we got to introduce him to.
And how, you were 19 years old?
19.
Because you were so pretty.
Oh, she was nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Golly, that's so funny. And so, Susie's husband at that time was a warrant officer.
Okay.
And Roy was an enlisted man. And warrant officers are so much higher rank
than enlisted men.
Well, they're not supposed to fraternize at all anyway.
Well, anyway, we went down to the enlisted men's club this one Saturday night. And Roy was there.
Yeah.
Gosh, he was handsome, wasn't he?
Oh,
still is.
Absolutely. If he looks like Richard, his son. Absolutely. Knock you off your feet.
So this other friend of Susie's invited brought him over and introduced him.
My gosh.
And we just kind of, and about 7 months later, the war broke out.
Right. Right.
And I wanted to get
In war, that's World War II.
World War II.
Right.
41.
Roy was a Texan at that time. He was also a pilot. And he also was going with the United Airlines. He was going to get out of the Marine Corps and go into United Airlines.
And have a wonderful civilian life. How did he get out of United Airlines and back into the Air Force and get shot down in Korea?
Well, when World War II broke out, they froze everybody. They wouldn't let him get out.
Okay.
The war broke out on December the 7th, and Roy was to go with the airline in January. Yeah, and they froze all. Well, by the time the World War II was over, he had 4 more years then. And at that time, he had so many years in.
He could see retirement.
Yes.
Right.
And when the war broke out, well, I wanted to get married because I wanted to get off the farm.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It wasn't just fun down here picking cotton and stuff?
No. Lord, I wanted to get married. I wanted to get off this farm. Didn't we, Margie?
No, but it was hard work back then.
Yeah. So Roy said, let's get married. And Aunt Susie, she hated him because he was an enlisted man.
You're kidding!
No, I'm not either. And so...
You mean he wasn't good enough for her younger daughter?
He was enlisted.
I mean your younger sister? I mean, as an enlisted man, I mean, he's not an officer, so he's not good enough for her sister?
No.
You're kidding! Uncle Roy?
Aunt Susie.
Look at her, she's a doll.
Aunt Susie. Well, at that time, I kind of had the hots for this captain. And
you did?
Talk about boyfriend. You had to tell them, didn't you?
She was
Mom.
She was going for the big money.
Right.
Wait a minute. We won't edit that out of this tape, okay? We'll run this back.
Maybe just stop
Keep
now.
talking. We'll cut it out later.
Okay, so.
Aunt Susie really wanted me to marry this captain.
Okay.
And so Roy said, you're not going to marry him, you're going to marry me. And I said, well, you better do it soon, because if you don't, I'm going to marry him, because I want to get off that farm.
That's right.
Are you
I want to
kidding?
get out of here.
You put pressure on him to marry you like that?
You said that right, I did. I want to get off of this farm.
Right.
And he said,
But now, at this time, you were 23.
no.
You were...
I was 20. Then I got to be 20.
Okay. But you met him at the first of the war? When
I met him 7 months before.
7 months before. Okay.
Before the war started.
Okay.
Before Pearl Harbor.
Now, the war was almost over when you met him. You met him in 1944, right?
And before that, 41.
I met him in
41.
1940.
And then the war broke out. He was talking about going into... Okay, now I got it. I'm sorry. Okay.
So they got married and he split to go to the war.
To go to the war.
Yes, but he
You were a bride?
Well, I had been married to him about, let's see, 41. I'd been married to him about a year when he went to the Pacific. When he went...
Now, let me ask you a question. When he goes to the war, do you immediately come right back here to the farm?
Yes. Yes. And Susie came back here too, Susie Long.
Because Uncle Clyde was in the
He
Marines.
was in South Pacific too, also.
Okay.
And Uncle
So
Elmer.
both of you came right back here.
And Uncle Elmer. And Winnie came back here too for just a few months.
Wow.
And
Nelson's wife came back here for 4.
Aunt Ruth came back here?
same time, at all 4 here at the same time.
Holy cow.
Mama had,
What was that like?
What was it like?
it was kind of crowded.
So to speak.
So it's...
You supported each other? Did you support each other?
Well,
in a weird way?
What did Winnie do? She went back to Norfolk and stayed with Alice. You know, because they were living there. She and Elmer Gorey were living there.
Right. Had more room.
Yes. Yeah. But Ruth was here. Ruth, Nelson's wife, and her 2 girls. She was here.
Okay.
And I was here, and Aunt Susie lived at Matthews. She lived in a little 2-story house, and she had Beverly and Barbara and Skippy.
In that little 2-story house?
And so I couldn't stand living here with Mama and Papa and Ruth and her 2 kids.
You rebel?
Really? Now I was married. And I went up to Susie's house in Matthews, and 5 people lived in 1 bedroom. Susie.
You.
Well,
And the 3 children.
I slept on the cot. Beverly and Barbara slept on bunk beds, and Skippy and Aunt Susie slept on a double bed. And we lived that way for over a year.
You are kidding.
Had fun.
It was great.
And all that time that was going on in that place, come up and spend the night
Who?
with the Skip at the place in Matthews.
Skip would come up. No, Skip would
he would
come
up.
And you'd spend the night with us. And Susie used to make homebrew. And we had a song.
That's must be what she did to me when I was young.
Aunt Varla would do that.
Oh,
Everybody made homebrew.
Are you serious? Did they really?
Yeah, everybody.
You gotta make homebrew.
But Grandfather Hayes wouldn't let, he didn't drink.
No, but most people did make homebrew, didn't they?
Oh, Lord, Susie used to make homebrew down there.
That's where it started.
That's exactly where it started.
See, we're trying to get there.
Now we gotta get to the poker.
We gotta get to the poker.
We get there.
We got the poker. Now, working to the poker game. That's cool. See, you talk long enough, you just figure it out, you know?
And homebrew.
Homebrew. And what is homebrew?
Yeah.
Is that a
beer.
No, I know it's beer. But what do you make it out of?
Speed's back.
Steve, what do you make homebrew out
I'm
of?
not sure. You had to have yeast.
Cornmeal and
Cornmeal
Corn.
and everything else.
And yeast.
And yeast.
And sugar.
Corn and yeast. And water.
So
That's
this
when everybody drank it back then. It was inexpensive to make.
Aunt Susie was drinking then too.
And you see, you can it'd be ready, start fermenting in about 4 days. So you got
Smell it in.
ready to start drinking in 4 days.
4 days. So Uncle Clyde, and they were all in the South Pacific, Clyde and Roy and Elmer Goree. They were all in the South Pacific.
Were they together or were they just over there?
No, because
Okay.
every one of them was in a different outfit.
Okay. Okay.
And this one night, that day she had gotten a letter from Clyde, her husband, and he had gone over into Hawaii on an R&R.
All right.
And
she was going to meet him?
No, she got this letter from Uncle Clyde.
Oh, okay.
And he said that he was over there on R&R, and he was having a good time.
Yeah.
And he told her, he was going off to
Oh, it was real busy. It was real good. Yeah.
Well, I came home, and I worked. That's the only time I worked at public work was when Roy was overseas, and I was working at a rubber company at that time. And
You want me to have her call you back?
And so I came home from that work that night, and Aunt Susie said,
Okay,
"Come
I'll have her
out
call you back.
here."
I think they were looking at the
Said, "Look at
table
this
when I
big
got there walking.
thing." And so she said, "Come on, my homebrew."
Okay. I'll call you back.
My homebrew is ready to be jarred up. And we had jars.
All right,
We went down there, and you had to. She had it in this big old vat. And she had her quart jars, I call it. You know what a quart jar is?
Sure.
Quart jar.
Bell jar or
Mason jar.
And so she said, "Now we're gonna cork this up." And you had to have. She had a big old cipher, a rubber hose about as big as your finger, and you have to go and put it over in this jar.
Okay.
There were some wonderful Hayes aunts and uncles. Here is a picture of the last 4 to go. We miss them to this day.